What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to talk about Paramount War. Specifically, we need to talk about the booster prices or the booster box prices of Paramount War, and we need to look and really see that, yes, things are getting better. Because one of the big talking points with the One Piece TCG, really since the release of the game, has been you can't get boxes of Romance Dawn. And a lot of the time that has been absolutely fair. Romance Dawn, and I've made this point before, but let me make it again. There is absolutely no way that Bandai could or should have predicted that this game would do so well. Straight off the bat. And to plan your business like your game is going to have a bigger start than any game has had in decades would be frankly irresponsible. If they were actually like, oh, no, mate, it's going to be so ridiculously popular, we can just spend a ridiculous amount of money on this. And if you do that and it doesn't work out, then your game fails immediately, and I don't think I need to point out that that's generally a pretty bad idea. So, yeah, it was too popular, and you couldn't get boxes anywhere. And prices went ridiculous. Now, I do think it's worth pointing out, I told you guys on more than one occasion, I'm not doing it. I'm not paying over the odds for a box of Paramount War, and I told you that I would be waiting until it was, well, basically doable, until it was, well, a reasonable price. And as I showed you the other day, I got a second box of Paramount War, and I actually weirdly ended up spending under retail, which I didn't really see coming, but, you know, nice little bonus. But my point is, it's coming back. We know it's coming back. I literally showed you the other day a video of me opening a booster box of Romance Dawn that had been delivered to the store that very same day. All right? That was a thing. That happened. That was awesome. So what about Paramount War then? And I think one of the most important things to point out at the beginning, it's better. It's much better. I was in London this weekend doing various things, and I wandered into Forbidden Planet over in London. Very nice job, very lovely people. I actually managed to pick up Starter Deck 6 there. My local game store hadn't got them in, and I'd forgotten to pick one up, and I think my local game store's still going to save me one when they eventually arrive, but I just walked in and they were there, just behind the shelves. So I just walked in and bought it. But see, even that is kind of telling, because that wasn't happening on release of the first 4 starter decks. That wasn't a thing that was happening. So the fact that I was able to just walk in to a shop and randomly find Starter Deck 6, that's kind of a big deal. Now, don't get me wrong. I fully understand that was, you know, just luck, and it happened to be that was the day they were delivered in. But when was the last time you walked into a shop and found the red starter deck just sitting there? The fact that I did is kind of a big deal. But they also had booster packs of Paramount War. Oh, as a fun little side note, I could not go to a shop, and I had to buy some sleeves and stuff, and I obviously bought the starter deck. I had to buy a pack of Paramount War, and I was a very good boy. I only bought one pack, obviously for retail. I've told you I'm willing to wait and not pay above. And I got a Secret Rare Ace. How cool is that? One random pack, Secret Rare Ace, job's a good un. So that made me pretty gosh darn happy. That was nice. So my point is, yeah, anecdotally this seems to be more available. And it is very much anecdotally, let's be perfectly clear. So let's actually try and see if we've got some actual proof here. Because that's kind of important, right? We need to see some actual proof that things are getting better. So let's go and have a look at TCG Player. And I'm fully aware that TCG Player is not the be-all and end-all, but it is still a place where you can go and buy stuff. Where you can go and buy packs and boxes and things of that nature. Now, they've got a market price of $195, which admittedly is not ideal. But you know what? Just before release, they were selling for $250. What has happened since we actually saw the release? Well, actually, that last little bump, where it's about 220, that was a release date. Since then, it's been falling down. And yes, I know this is still above retail. I am fully aware that this is still above retail. But we are sitting here a couple weeks after the release of the set, and the price is falling. And the price is falling kind of amazingly. Now, if we compare that to, for instance, Romance Dawn as an example, well, we've still got a price of $280. And whereas we saw on release it was selling for pretty much retail, it's kind of going up. Now, it has started going down. In the past 3 weeks, we've seen a drop from $320 to $280. So a fairly significant drop. It's still not dropping down too far. And if we put those graphs side by side just for a second, you'll notice that Paramount War is doing better. And sure, I'm convinced there must be some people who basically went, oh, you know what? Let's not bother with this game. We couldn't get Romance Dawn. But I think what is far more likely is Bandai were printing Romance Dawn. And by the time they realised quite how popular Romance Dawn was going to be, it's kind of a bit too late. It was out. But with Paramount War, they had the benefit of hindsight. They'd been able to look at Romance Dawn and see quite how popular it was, and they went, okay, let's up printing. And they had time to do that in a way that they never really had time to do for Romance Dawn. Because again, remember, by the time Romance Dawn actually released and people realised quite how popular it was too late to really up production like that because it was out at that stage. So that's kind of important to note. And if we go over to eBay just for a moment and go and have a look at a Paramount War booster box, what do we see? Well, they're available, frankly. Now, they're not perfect. We're not finding them for retail. That's a little bit sad. But, you know, using this one as a nice little... I mean, there's 3 in a row here. 185, 220, and 215. Well, that 185 is not the only 185. There are a bunch around for about 185. And like I say, you can get them for 200 all day long, but no one wants to pay 200. And, look, I'm not blind to this, right? I am fully aware that 185 is above retail. I personally won't pay $185 for Paramount War. But this video isn't looking at, hey, they're readily available at retail everywhere you look. The whole point today is things are getting better. And this is what happened in Japan, and now in Japan things are much, much nicer. This is what happened with Digimon. And now with Digimon, things are much, much nicer. And that's kind of my point here. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to pick these up everywhere super easily, instantly. That's not the point. That's not where we are at the moment. I sincerely wish it was, but we're not there yet, I'm afraid. Where we are is in this wonderful, wonderful place where things are getting better. And this is great. And I'll tell you something for nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Things are going to keep getting better and better and better as time goes by. Now, these souls are actually from the UK, but we got souls here actually sold for $140. Again, over retail, but compare that to Romance Dawn. Now, I'm not saying it's great, because Romance Dawn is still a pain to get hold of, let's be clear. It's still not easy to go and get Romance Dawn. Like I say, I did get a booster box a couple of weeks ago, and I did actually get it below retail, which was amazing. But I'm also fully aware that that was, well, it was a bit of luck. I found a very nice store who got their stock in and just sold it at the regular price. But come and look at this English listing with me. £150, $180. And I know this is in the UK, not in the US, but this just goes to prove my point. Things are getting better. In the UK, we have had a restock recently, and we've seen that there are people around who are willing to not scalp it into oblivion and just set it at a vaguely reasonable price, which is lovely. Incidentally, even if you're in the US, they're selling this for like $220, which is still, for the US, unfortunately, a good price. That's with shipping. And I know it's too much, and I'm not claiming it's not, but remember, we're not there yet, but we are getting better. I showed you that in Japan, things have basically calmed right down with One Piece, and things are a lot more available. That hasn't happened here yet, but we're on the way. Paramount War has launched at a much better state in terms of supply than Romance Dawn, and I know there are going to be pessimistic people interpreting that as, oh, well, demand has gone down. No, Bandai are just printing loads. And it's going to keep happening. Once again, I've told you this a million times, let me tell you one more time. Bandai, like all card game companies, are a profit-making business. They want to make money. They want to sell you their games. If they know they will sell them, and they know they will sell them, they will keep printing because they want to make money. And it's a card game. The whole point of card games is not, I'm going to sell a few boxes here and there. The whole point of card games is we are going to hook people, and those people are going to continue to buy our product for years and years and years. And that's how we know they are going to keep printing, yes, even Romance Dawn, because they want you as a customer for years. How do they get you as a customer for years? They make the product available. This is proof that things are getting better. It's not proof that things are fixed, but hopefully, and every time I do a video like this, I get an awful lot of people going, oh yeah, but, basically telling me why it's not going to be better and how it's going to keep being, rubbish forever. But no, ladies and gentlemen, this is proof it's starting to get better, and it's just going to keep going, and this is wonderful. That's what I think. I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kind of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.